Hey everyone, this is Ian Carlin from I'm getting my podcasts confused. A Mind for Fitness podcast. I run another podcast actually called the Empty Cup Podcast. It is on martial arts, but this podcast, and this isn't a podcast, this is just going to be a vlog today. Um, um, is going to be on two theories of weight loss. What are the two major theories of weight loss, and what really separates these two theories, and why one of them is correct and one of them is incorrect, but why the incorrect one tends to work sometimes for some people. Why do people still lose weight on traditional diets? So, and just some other stuff I just thought I'd share with you. I said I was going to have a bigger presence here on YouTube, and so I want to start doing some videos and just putting out ideas and things like that. As many of you who listen to this already know, I myself have lost nearly 100 pounds and am continuing on in my journey. And I did this mostly through low carb dieting and paleo dieting. So I have a video on that. But what are the two theories of weight loss? Not what are the two diets, because there's lots of diets out there. There's South Beach diet. There's Choose to Lose by Chris Powell. There's Choose More, Lose More by Chris Powell. There's, I Can Make You Thin by Paul McKenna. I mean, there's the Atkins diet. There is, there's the paleo solution. There's all kinds of diets out there. So, but what really separates the camps? What really separates these two camps? And here is the basic idea behind one group of diets and then another group of diets. And one group of diet believe that, and this is the more traditional group of diets, believes that, number one, that if you eat fat, you will be fat, and that weight loss is a result of calories in, calories out. Okay, that is their basic premise. That if you eat too much, you exercise too little, you'll gain weight. And as a result of that, because fat has more calories per gram than protein or carbohydrates, out of the three major nutrients, macronutrients, then you shouldn't eat fat, because fat will make you fat. The other theory, in which all the other ones hang together, and they can string out from there, is that it isn't the amount of food that makes you fat, but that what causes somebody to gain weight is a hormonal dysregulation. And so if you can get a hold of your hormones, then you can lose weight. So those are the two major theories. And there's been some, as of late, having like people trying to cross over, and it's mostly the low fat people and the low calorie people trying to cross over to the hormonal theory, because they are seeing such success with these hormonal theories of weight loss, and people doing so well, and people actually being able to lose weight and sustain weight loss and not be miserable all the time and not be hungry all the time. Can you tell which one I actually agree with? Yes, it is the hormonal issue of weight loss. The belief that hormones regulate whether or not you are thin or fat, or whether or not you're gaining weight or losing weight. So those are the two basic camp, and that's the one that I subscribe to, and that's the one which I lost all my weight on, is the hormonal theory of weight loss. So what so then you have all these diets that are connected to the hormonal theory of weight loss, and you have all these diets that are connected to the the calories in, calories out method of weight loss. As a matter of fact, many of your diets, particularly if you grew up in the 80s like I did, and then into the 90s, for the most part, most of the major diets that came out revolved around that. They revolved around, um, eating a lot of low calorie food and eating 6 meals a day. So Jenny Craig, all those weight loss things that came out, Slim Fast, all those things came out, really, really revolved around that if you just limited your calories, you just tuned your calories down, you would lose weight. And so those are all those kind of diets. And then the hormonal theory diets are really like Atkins, paleo, um, what else am I thinking of? Tons and tons of diet, intermittent fasting. Even though intermittent fasting seems like a low calorie kind of a diet, it really is addressing hormonal issues. So it's really, that's the theory. The ketogenic diet, all those diets are trying to address the bulletproof diet, um, the fat burning man diet, Abel James's diet. I'm forgetting the name of the diet right now, but all those things kind of revolve around that hormones regulate weight loss. And their diets are based on like two primary things. And this is two things that I really believe in, that really make the difference in your weight loss. And that is, number one, too many carbohydrates in general. Okay. And number two, too much processed food. Okay. So too many carbohydrates in general and too much processed food. And that will cause you to gain weight because that messes with the hormonal system of your body, particularly the hormonal system revolving around insulin and ghrelin. And there's a whole host of hormones that that can dysregulate and cause you to gain weight. The main one is going to be insulin. That's the main hormone that will make you gain weight, is insulin. And that seems to be the kingpin as far as I'm concerned, because it's so interesting, because we always hear about we have the hormonal theory, and then we always hear about the new hormone that they found that helps regulate insulin. So a while back it was some other hormone that was found. And then, oh, found this new hormone. And if you regulate that, then and they all seem to be regulated by insulin though. So if you control insulin, you control all these other hormones. For the most part, insulin seems to be the key player or a major factor in all the hormones that regulate appetite, regulate sleep. So if you don't sleep well, you can also become insulin resistant from not sleeping well, because you release stress hormones, and stress hormones have an effect on insulin, and everything has this effect on insulin. And so if you can get your insulin under control, you can kind of get all these other hormones under control. So insulin, in my opinion, seems to be the kingpin for weight loss. So why do sometimes people lose weight on these low calorie diets? That's an important question to ask. And the reason why people lose weight on low calorie diets has to do with the fact that even though they're on a low calorie diet, they're inadvertently addressing hormonal issues. So, for example, you have to look at what they were eating prior to them going on like a 6 meal a day or a low fat diet or something like that, or a combination of the two. So, for example, if the person was eating like, a donut in the morning, and then mid afternoon, they were, or not mid afternoon, but mid morning, eating another donut, and then for lunch they're having a burger and fries, and they're going, so, and they have like just kind of the standard American diet. And then they go, instead of having that, to having like 4 egg whites and a half a cup of oatmeal, or half a banana, or a cup of oatmeal, or half a banana, or whatever. Yes, there are carbohydrates in the banana, and there are carbohydrates in the half a cup of oatmeal, but it's significantly less carbohydrates than having a bagel, or having, your donut, or 2 donuts, or 4 donuts, or whatever it is, and then sipping it down with Coke, because Coke it doesn't have any fat in it, right? So you can drink Coke, um, or Diet Coke, but Diet Coke has aspartame, which messes up your hormones and causes you to be more hungry than you actually are and actually should be. It suppresses ghrelin. It does all kinds of stuff. So even though this person, who's on a low fat diet is getting results, the reason why they get results is due to the fact that they are inadvertently addressing hormonal issues. And this is also the reason why sometimes people can sustain weight loss on these diets. But this is also the reason why people will ultimately, most people, and we are talking like 98% of people who go on traditional diets end up gaining weight back and then gaining their weight back and then gaining more and going off the diets, is because yes, they are regulating their hormones, but they're also hungry. They're starving because they don't have enough fat in their system to keep them full and to keep them satisfied. So you can only fight your hunger for so long. That's really all there is to it. You can fight what you eat, but it's a little bit like trying to fight sleeping. If I said, let's say, you are not managing your time correctly and your house is dirty, and somebody comes along and says, well, the reason why your house is dirty is because you're spending too much time sleeping at night, and if you would just wake up at night and do your house cleaning, you would get more done. Well, for a little while you would be able to do this. You would be able to get up and clean your house and all that stuff, but eventually you'll pass out. You'll just become more tired and you'll give in, and you'll pass out. So instead of managing the time you're awake more appropriately, which would be something that would be more realistic, say, okay, well, instead, I notice that during these hours that you're naturally awake, you tend to watch TV too much, or you tend to, whatever. And let's just take a little bit of time and do this. And you say, oh, wow, I can get a lot done and I don't mess up my sleep. Well, that's a good analogy, because on a lot of these diets that are hormone regulated, what they do is, either whether it's paleo or low carb, if it's paleo, they're dropping the carbs kind of naturally, because you're not eating things like potatoes and you're not eating things like bread, and you're eating like a lot of meat and a lot of vegetables, which is going to naturally drop your carbs. And you're getting rid of processed food, which dysregulates your hormones. And so, yes, you become you can kind of eat when you want, and you eat until you're full, and the meals taste good, and there is some allowance for cheat meals or cheat days every once in a while, and so you feel pretty good about this. So you can sustain that. You can sustain that kind of lifestyle. Now, there are other factors that are going to be involved in this, but that's something that you can sustain. If I tell you, hey, you can eat when you want, you can eat when you're hungry, you can stop when you're full, and the only thing, and the food is all going to taste good. We're just going to eliminate certain foods. And it might be difficult at first, but it's nowhere near as difficult as trying to starve yourself. That is a diet you can sustain yourself on, and then say, okay, well, you know what? Actually, once a week, you can have a meal where you can have whatever you want, whatever you've been craving, whether it's pizza or burgers and fries or whatever. So, if you do that, then you can sustain it. So those are really the only really the only two theories of weight loss. Either it's calories in, calories out, which is a crock and a load of BS, and it will not work, and you will be hungry and sad, or the hormonal theory of weight loss. Those are your only two options. So that's it for this little vlog today. Can I ask you please to subscribe to my channel and pick up my book? This isn't the book. This is just the cover of the book. It is called Fasting to Break Your Plateau, A Basic Guide to Intermittent Fasting. It's just a little booklet. It's on Amazon. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, then you can get it for free. And if you're not an Amazon Prime member, it's $2.99. It's just cheap. It's a little booklet, but it's basically covers everything you need. Basically everything you need to know about intermittent fasting, the different types of intermittent fasting, and what I did to lose 25 pounds, actually plus more than that, because that intermittent fasting has been part of my life, and to break my plateau. Uh, and I was actually gaining weight again. So if you go to Amazon and get it, that would really help us out. So thanks a lot for joining me. This has been a quick vlog. Go to the podcast, A Mind for Fitness, and subscribe. Thanks a lot. We'll see you.